Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is how.
Greetings, fellow Cameroonians at home and abroad, Anglophone, Francophones alike. Una all be welcome to this platform. My name is Kaput. I've been a chairman of PRAP, the People's Right Advocative Platform. Today, we want to go straight into the Ambazonian Reckoning, a series of presentation where they make them for look the case where they go on for the United States and for Norway for Ayaba, and make it be like a wake-up call for all our community. Me then see the details for the case, then read the file very well, know its way to go on. It go help we for adjust plenty things them and for really put our Anglophone struggle on the right track. Me some man in no can fool you will give you an fact. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we began talk, the case where the indictment then be publicized for United States of America, they then indict two individuals them, Pascal Kiki and Benedict Kwawe, all know them very well, they do work for ADF for serious crimes them. I would not name the crime then, but we want to go for the detail for the incident, the way they talk about that crime they happened for the. We go break them one by one according to how I write up my note. So the first crime we didn't talk about now the killing for that two people them for Gozang. How it happen? Where it be happen a video where it shock everybody. It be so disturbing. It's sicking people them for their stomach. We'll get videos, people from all over the world contacting us like, what is happening there? What are you guys doing? How did we get there? So I want to try to use this reckoning for show now how did we get there and how we can avoid so that people they will know what is wrong and what is right and what is propaganda from what is real. Among the cases where they don't bring them against these two individuals, one of those cases where they call them rattlesnake, it been a fake attack. It was not true. Even the court document talks say two people they be die for the other one I just lie. I talk the one because I get information firsthand. I was fully aware of what was going on, the people that were involved, and the people that I know were working for the Cameroon government that were operating this sting operation. So the whole case against these guys, I am not 100% sure again if it is the type of case that we know, because I know for sure that the people that reported this case, that made this case to happen, in my belief, are the Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International, together with some other humanitarian stakeholders who travel to Europe to meet the Norwegian government to talk about what Ayabacho was doing so that it should stop and Ayabacho should be arrested. I was aware of those meetings with the Norwegian government. It was a report. It has nothing to do with Cameroon government. Absolutely nothing. These were people who were genuinely worried about the war crimes, specific war crimes, and some of them even spoke to me when they went there, and I even alerted the AGOFC members, including this other lady here, Abu Free in America, who they are using to. She's sleeping with Lucas as they are using. You know how that group work. So I want our people to know exactly how these things happen, how it unfold, because the people deserve to know, and also for accountability and justice, and to also make sure that things like this don't happen again. How do we get here? First of all, the ADF, as you see, is a real force. In the struggle of Ambazonia, we have many groups that are loose. They don't have command and control structure from the diaspora. ADF and SOCADEF are the two exceptions where the leaders actually train their forces. They have command and control, and they have allegiance to their leader, not the group. The ADF soldiers have allegiance not to even the ADF. The ADF is just a brand. They have allegiance to Ayabacho. They don't have that allegiance just with the ideology. It's a blood pact. Those in the ADF, they have cut their fingers and the blood, make a blood oath. These are not things that are secret. Ayabacho have spoken about it. Ebenezer Akwanga have also spoken about it. So these are very solid groups that have some type of an occultic appeal within their members. So it's very difficult to get into the inner circle of the ADF and know their inner runnings. Even though I was the spokesperson of that group, I can tell you for sure that I know that it was a very secretive group. Information and access was really tight. They created groups that seems to be representing the organization, but we know that they existed their real command structure, where most of those who were in the other groups were not in those groups, and information were being presented in those groups for general review and to get people along. and to get the organizations, people who affiliate with those organizations or who are supporting that organization to have that appeal or support from our general public. Those people were important for those purposes. But in terms of operational, uh, ongoing coordination, supervision, strategic in operation and tactics, all those things were all command and control were all based within very secretive, close group of individuals that I know some of them who are there. Based on how I came to know about the existence of this group was through Pascal Kiki in particular, who told me, and the guy in Germany, Shea KV Womeleng. These are the people who informed me about these groups, which they were usually just mocking me and say, Kaput Daniel, you don't you don't really know what is going on actually here. They are just using you for communication, which I didn't mind because for me, the most important issue was the general interest in Amazonian struggle. So I will break this story down for everybody to know what went on and how we got here. I've explained to you people already that in our struggle for independence, most of us were motivated by the grievances and the reaction of the Cameroon government towards protesters. But that was not the end of the story. There are people who had the nationalist spirit, as I call them, which are the Sokadev and Egofsi. These are people who don't believe in Cameroon or recognize Cameroon's sovereignty, who had already participated in armed struggle against the Cameroon government pre 2016. So they had forced their ideology until it became the mainstream in Ambazonia, basically taking over the struggled Anglophone crisis that transformed itself into a conflict. So you have to know how did we get to this position? The ADF had a problem of leadership. They could not be accepted by most of the activists like myself who were supporting Ayoktabi. But this video of Ayabacho when they launched the ADF changed everything. An obscure short man from Norway who was not really known outside Norway diaspora community became a center figure of our struggle when this video happened. But that was true, Ayaba,
And all the community which is behind him.
launching the ADF.
Chose to be the head of homeland, the Amba land. You see how determined our boys are. You see how determined our women are.
In 2017, the army of the ADF was born. It was launched in Dadi, which came as a shock to many of us who were watching this thing on social media for the first time. I was supporting Ayoktabi, and this was really very interesting for me. I like, wow, finally there is an army that can also challenge the Cameroon government. And I was so happy with it, to the disappointment of Ayoktabi and many people within the IG. They were like, Kapo, you are a betrayer. Why are you going to support Ayabacho? Because for me, this thing was never an issue of sight. It was about the people, not about sight. So I thought this was very interesting and a very good idea. If the Cameroon government is going around killing people, finally there is somebody who is standing up against them. But as quickly as Ayabacho launched this ADF, some of what you people see today as very radical did not start today. When the ADF was launched, war against Cameroon was declared by Benedict Kwa, quoting the Cameroon crackdown and the historic wrong and all the articulation that the ADF believed. All those things were quoted when he declared war also against the Cameroon government. And Ayabacho followed up with those declarations by outlining his vision on how can you, first of all, separate Southern Cameroon from La République du Cameroon and achieve independence by liberation. And it was really, really troubling. Some of the tactics that Ayabacho talked about was hanging traditional rulers, to arrest traditional rulers, not all of them, a few of them, to hang them, to send a message to our public, to destroy everything Cameroon. They step on Cameroon national flag, ask that everything that have Cameroon ID card or Cameroon color should be destroyed. They had a series of policy that Ayabacho and Sheikh Kabiwo Moleng in particular. These were the two main people that were pushing these policies. And it was very disturbing for me. And I started criticizing them on social media very early on. I said, whoa, slow down. These guys, they look good, but there is something very, very dangerous that they are proposing, which is not what we stand for. They were talking about driving away all francophones. And I remember I went up, I was started to talk about no, Seseko, in the beginning of this struggle, there was a consensus that this fight is not against francophones. This fight is against the government that was oppressing us, not against the francophone citizens. At that point, I was approached by one of the founders of the ADF. These are not somebody that is known on social media. It's a guy called Frank. I have his details, his picture, his schools, and his background and everything. This guy called me Frank. At that time, the ADF had people like Pascal. I know the Pascal, the Bon Blanc in America was there. You have Fon was there. A lot of people were drawn to this group. And I was critical of them after my initial reaction to them. And this guy, Frank, he contacted me and he called me to explain the ADF, the mindset of the ADF. And he told me that Ayaba believed that our traditional rulers have played a key part, have been used by Paul Biya, giving him that title, Chief of Chiefs. And it is very important to destroy that narrative. So that is why he wants that a chief should be used in that manner. A chief should be to be hung on the public to destroy that myth and stronghold that Paul Biya have of our people, that he's chiefs of chiefs and these chiefs mean something for us. He had a very strong problem also with our leaders who are in Cameroon playing politics, be it SDF or CBN, all those people. He believed that those people which he called enablers are the people that have enabled Cameroon to continue to control our territory. So I listened to all those things and I then understand why he was doing those things. But I really told Mr. Frank, I want to talk to Ayaba. He could not talk to me. It was very difficult to have access to Ayaba. He was a very secretive person. And a group was created for me, for my platform, to engage with the ADF. It was called Talking Point. That was a chat group, where the top advisors of Ayaba will meet me and we will discuss over my concern about the ADF and what I was pushing on social media and what Ayoktabi was pushing, so that we can discuss them and see how for the common interest we can push a common narrative. And I had pushed back on their policy to kill a chief. At that time, Ayaba had designated the fund of Kugwe to be killed. And that was the fund that was hosting the ADF. But he was the one that they could easily lay hands on because they wanted to kill a chief. It didn't matter that they have done anything. These are public things that he made public. He announced in 2017 that traditional leader, he wants the traditional leaders to be hung publicly without even stating the crime. So these are not things that were hidden. They launched the destruction of ID card in 2017 and many of those things. But it was thanks to my intervention that those policies were put on hold. It was just put on hold. And that explains why when I resigned from the ADF, I told our people that our people are going to suffer because what Ayaba is going to be unleashing in our territory is going to be devastating for our population. It was predictable because I had already known what I was suppressing and I knew what I was keeping at bay. So we'll go straight to this case, the killing of the people in Gozang, so that you understand what happened. The killing of the people in Gozang, where 2 innocent people were brought and slaughtered. When those people were killed, the first thing that came to me was, I know that guy. I know one of them. One of the guy was a person that was responsible when there was this problem between TTA and the ADF. This guy was linked to me. He was talking to me, talking to Seiko Johnson, talking to other many people. The prince who was killed. And he helped arrange meeting between General Efang and local traditional leaders in Batibo. So he was somebody that was known to us for helping us. So when he died, I was like, why would they kill this particular guy? And I contacted his family and he told me, like, the thing that happened was they have a dispute because the neighboring person who was selling things close by had a problem with a lady, and that lady was a girlfriend of General Efang. So that lady went and reported to the camp at a moment where they were having pressure to kill a black leg in Gozang. So the soldiers just simply went and take this guy and use them as a scapegoat. The guys did not do anything other than have a problem with a business person competing in business. They didn't do anything. And I call Ayaba in Belgium, because I know he's a very respectable person who worked for the European Union. I called him and told Ayaba, do you know that these people that these guys have killed are really innocent. They didn't do anything. Ayaba said, no, 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 no. Lucas Asu said that they had committed crime. They had arrested them and kept them for over 1 month, and they had videos and audio. I said, no. Tell them to show you the proof. These guys are totally innocent. He went there, they insulted him, and they said everything. We tried, and even the Human Rights Watch were looking for information. I said, okay, you guys talk to Lucas. They called Lucas Asu and interviewed Lucas. It is in the report of the Human Rights Watch. And he said the same claims, and he knew very well that those claims were lies. They were just a way to cover up to our society what was going on. And so, let's go back to the document of the indictment. According to the document from investigation done by the FBI, probably from information recovered from Ayabacho's phone, Benedict's phone, and other members of the ADF, I doubt whether this is from the soldiers' phones who were there. But I know for sure that the investigators have met people on the ground based on the feedback I'm getting from them. They said on the 4th of October, Ayabacho had already made a decision that somebody should be killed. It wasn't a surprise because when I was with the AGOFC, they created a group that they call Ground Zero Command Structure or something like that. It wasn't a group that they used for command or anything. It was just a group where they bring people that are connected with the ADF general chat group, where they throw out information there so that for decimation and debate and all these type of things. So Ayabacho in that group, when they added me in that group, had given instruction that the soldiers should kill blacklegs because blacklegs are the main problems that this struggle is delaying, and they should kill somebody blackleg. And I listened to that audio and I was like, okay, this doesn't sound right. And I also replied in that group and I said, how can you know who is a blackleg when you're telling soldiers to go and kill somebody who is a blackleg? How can you know? Because a blackleg, you cannot just kill somebody because you think he's supporting Cameroon. To what extent does that betrayer have to require that person to even kill? So I raised those questions and I tried to support him. I even called Lucas Asu. I tell Lucas they have to put you in that chat group also. Because what these guys are saying is crazy. Lucas came there and we all shouted like, no, 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 no. You can't be in the diaspora telling soldiers to go and kill blacklegs without any ongoing case. If there were some cases of people that were actually helping the Cameroon military, I would understand. But the issue was being pushed by Ayabacho that blacklegs should be killed. And Pascal Kiki, that they should go and kill blacklegs. I was like, what is blacklegs to you guys? Like, when problem come and then you are trying to solve it, I will understand. But you are telling the boys to go and kill somebody. So I had fought that thing in many, many levels. It came up in many, many discussions with me and them. And I said, no, you can't just kill somebody because he's a blackleg. Because first of all, who is a blackleg? You have to define to the soldiers who is a blackleg and to what extent are the blacklegism. There are some people who are talking to the Cameroon military because they are forced to. There are some who have relatives who are Cameroon military. You can't just say anybody talking to Cameroon military. So we debated that thing for a long time. And I even campaigned on it. And I warned our citizens that don't talk to Cameroon military. Avoid them. Stay away from them. Because if you do so, these guys will be suspecting you that you are doing something wrong. Because I thought it was coming from the soldiers. But no, it was not at all. Yes, the soldiers have complaints with real cases. But for the most part, it was coming from abroad. To go and keep blacklists, go and keep people. So if you look at the documents and the indictment, I think paragraph 99 says that an order was given for a scapegoat to be killed for blacklegism, to send a message. That means they just want to keep people to send a message. Like you see from this picture I've put there, with Ayabacho having this thing tied on his face and the curtain tied in his hands. This is the curtain he tied in his hand to make the big speech that make him prominent in our struggle in the United States of America. Because Ayabacho is a con artist. A con artist is somebody who is deceiving people that he is something who is not, for the purpose of manipulating them into something. He was so desperate for leadership. As you look at his hand, there is no bandage that can be tied in a small wound in somebody's hand as big as that. He deliberately, consciously tied his hand to pretend that he was attacked by the Cameroon government. Multiple times he has done that, so that people should believe in him. He's a main enemy of the Cameroon government. But the purpose of him to do that was only for leadership. So he's ready to do unorthodox things, things that are not normal. These are not propaganda. these are manipulating of people in an unorthodox manner. So the killing of these two individuals were not mistaken. No, it was premeditated. It's something he wanted to do. It's something that he asked the soldiers to do for terrorism. Because when you want to frighten people into compliance, frighten people to follow your leadership, and you use such brutal method, you are actually using fear. That is called terrorism. So in this document, they show messages that were recovered from ADF command. In paragraph 100, it says that Pascal Kiki asked soldiers to ramp up the killing of blacklegs, that he was putting pressure. Master wanna kill blackleg, they wanna kill blackleg, no one to see blood for blackleg. That was what was going on. Paragraph 101, the deputy secretary, I don't know whether Sheikh Harvey get that title, because in that group, really, the faces, the title people carry in the public may not actually mean anything in the command structure. But the document says that deputy defense secretary, which was actually, I believe, was a true deputy defense chief in that group, sent out an order that all blacklegs and enablers should be killed. All, they should be killed. So this pressure was coming to the ADF forces. It indicates what instructions they were given to them. So after the deputy defense secretary made those pronouncements, he came back now with a video of the execution of those young men in Gozang, which I want to play with you, which most of you have already seen. I'll play that video again for you just to remind you. And this is the video he brought.
So the one they see there for back. Behind yourself. We'll move them 1-1.
You can see the guy is refusing that he has nothing to do with what they were saying. We're talking about Rene. We all know Rene. Rene have been a name that has always been featured in the ADF for a long time. So this is it.
Behind yourself. We'll move them 1-1. Give message so. Now send out Rene. You can carry them.
As you all know, yesterday, the Ambazonia Defense Forces, following the established Ambazonian Code of Law and Code of Justice, carried out summary execution.
So this is why those people were killed. To send out this message that Mumu, I call him Mumu Lucas. It is so horrible that some people were thinking that maybe he was misspoken, or it was a mistake in grammatic error. But these are not just what he spoke there. He repeated these words, these same phrases all over and over to Human Rights Watch's investigator who contacted him, that they have followed the procedure of the ADF and they have carried out summary execution. Summary execution means you kill somebody of an accusation alone. You accuse somebody and you kill the person. You don't even confront that person with the charges or what you are accusing the person. You don't allow that person to be confronted by those who are making the accusation. You don't confront the person with the evidence for the person to give his own explanation as required by even the basic form of common sense. Not even talking about international law. Those guys were flatlined in front of women, children. And why did they gather all this population? We have seen real Ambazonian fighter groups who encountered problems that it was people spying and providing real-time information to the Cameroon military and how they were being killed. Never have we seen something like this, where the populations were gathered, women, mothers, and children. It's even hard for me to still go through the emotions of what happened that day. They killed them like that just to send a message. And Lucas come out to tell the people
publicly of 2 Cameroon spies recruited by the B commander in Ambo. They were arrested about a month ago They've been subjected through thorough investigation.
So we all know for sure that all these excuses he was making were all lies. They just make up stories about these guys because they wanted to scare the population into submission. They have been having difficulties even to control Gozang or to have boys in Gozang have allegiance to them. And they choose to use these boys who carry weapons to commit this act of terrorism against our own innocent people, spilling innocent blood on the ground. They desecrate the ground that our people walk upon. They shattered the innocence of our young children who were sitting there watching this public display of barbarism that is worse than like what ISS was doing. This was an act of terrorism that ADF is called upon to answer today. The individuals that carry out these operations were not just doing so on their own. They did it out of instruction, out of an ideology that seeks to control, seeks to dominate using this method. It is wrong, it is immoral, not in our name. This is not a part of us. And if you are any Amazonian soldiers who on the ground who you have also embraced this ideology of Ayabacho, thinking that it can lead us to independence, look at the consequences. If Ayabacho was so eloquent and these guys were so eloquent to speak to you and encourage you to resist this Cameroon oppressive regime, they have been silenced as a result of this barbaric treatment because it can never be accepted in any place in the world. It is wrong, it is immoral, and they must face the consequences. And anybody who carry out this type of attacks will face the consequences. We have said this from the beginning of this struggle. Whatever you do, use your conscience. Everybody's gonna die at one point or the other. Anybody's gonna die. But don't even fear man, fear God. All our soldiers who go around doing kidnapping, doing all those things, this is a moment of reflection. If you had believed the lies that Ayabacho have told you, that you can do things like this to our own people and get away with it, or that it is acceptable conduct, no, it is not. It runs contrary to what we believe in. It makes it impossible for even the Anglophone struggle to be heard. It helps the enemy. It does help the enemy. There are other details that I wouldn't want to bring here which are not relevant to this specific case, but we'll go on to discuss the other cases that they are mentioned in this court case. So the evidence are overwhelming in this case, and we believe this case alone, they will be convicted for this case. They will be convicted for sure. And it's a very sad thing. But for the justice of those innocent people, these guys have to go. The main person who helped the ADF on the ground, they killed that same person. So if these people have their way, who is going to survive? Who is going to survive? Which Anglophone will survive? They don't represent the spirit of our people. They are morally bankrupt. They are con artists. They are cold-blooded murderers who do so for their own political gain and for their own interests. Ayabacho have shown time and time again that even when they propose prisoner release, the release of even Ayok Tabi, he rejects it because of his own leadership ego. He wants to rule, he wants to dominate. He's a psychopath. He's an evil man. He's an evil devil incarnate, a con man who misrepresents himself and uses tactics for propaganda to gain support for the people. Real leadership use conviction, use legal argument, use campaign to bring people to himself. That is why you find that even in this group, they use sex, they use women to manipulate soldiers, to dominate them. It is like an occultic society where the core members, they have sworn with blood, make blood pact to protect each other and to die for each other and to kill for each other. Not killing for the people. Because if you wanted to free the people, are these innocent people not the people that you were supposed to free? So these are the things that ADF has done. And we'll keep on looking into this fire so that anybody should know that they deserve what has come to them. For sure, they deserve it. And they don't represent us Anglophones. They don't represent Ambazonia. These are just people who came into this struggle, inject themselves, use cyberbullying, trying to use killing, murder to take control of this struggle for their own egos, for their own power and will to dominate over our people.